Have you ever said no and then immediately kept talking like the word wasn't allowed to stand on its own? So you add a reason, then another reason, then a quick apology. Then you start managing their feelings so you don't have to sit with your guilt. And somehow the conversation gets heavier. There's a pattern behind this that most people miss. People don't push your boundaries because they're outright rude. They push because you're doing one small thing that makes your no sound movable. And when you stop doing it just once, something shifts. People argue less, your guilt loosens faster, and your no sounds complete instead of like an opening for discussion. In this video, I'll show you that one habit. Unlearning this habit took me a long time, but I've also included 4 other habits to drop that should make your journey to calm confidence much faster than mine. We'll start with the simplest one and build to the most impactful. The intention is for your boundaries stay clean without you turning cold. But first, let's unpack why you overexplain. Overexplaining isn't a personality flaw. It's a coping strategy. Most people overexplain because they're trying to avoid some of the following: disappointing someone, being seen as selfish, conflict, rejection. So you try to be reasonable. You want the other person to say, "Okay, I get it." Because when they approve, your nervous system relaxes. But that's the trap. If your boundary depends on their approval, it's not a boundary. It's a negotiation you didn't agree to. Here's the one habit that was quietly sabotaging me. Over-explaining turns a decision into a debate. The moment you give a long reason, you hand people something to pull on. "I'm tired" becomes "you'll feel better if you come." "I'm busy" gets met with "it'll only take an hour." "I need space" is twisted into "you're being dramatic." Now, the conversation isn't about your decision anymore. It's about whether your reason is good enough. That's why over-explaining creates guilt. You start trying to earn your right to say no. So, let's fix it. I'll give you 4 pressure points that invite pushing, and what to do instead. We'll go in increasing intensity. The final one changes the whole frame. Pressure point. Number 1, pre-apologizing. The most common mistake that most people miss is they start with, "I'm so sorry," before they've even answered. This backfires because it reinforces the idea that you're doing something wrong. So the other person leans in like, "Oh, this is negotiable. Convince me." It also trains your brain to link boundaries with guilt. Instead, try this next time someone asks you to do something you can't or don't want to. "Thanks for understanding. I can't." Then you stop speaking. Why it works? It's polite without giving away authority. You're not asking permission. You're giving an answer. Pressure point number 2, the full backstory. I used to do this more times than I can count. You give your schedule, your stress, your history, your mood, everything. It backfires because details create handles. And when you list 5 reasons, it can sound like you're trying to convince yourself too. Instead, simply state your decision and add a one-liner for context, but that's it. For example, they ask, "Can you help me this weekend?" You respond, "I can't, I have something else planned." That's it. Even if the thing you have planned is relaxing on your couch, that's not something they're entitled to know. Why this works? It's clear, calm, and closed-ended. Healthy people accept it. Pushy people reveal themselves. Pressure point number 3, treating why like a courtroom. They ask why, and you start defending like you're on trial. This habit accidentally causes them to become the judge of whether your reason is valid. And you just agreed to the role play by implying, "I need you to approve this." Here's what to do instead. Become a broken record. For example, they ask, "Why can't you just do it?" You, "It doesn't work for me." If they push, you repeat, "It doesn't work for me." This works because it closes the debate without hostility. It's calm, final, and it doesn't invite a follow-up. Pressure point number 4, proving you're good. This is the deepest one, and had the biggest impact for me personally. Over-explaining often comes from a hidden fear. If I don't justify myself, they'll think I'm selfish. So you try to prove you're still a good person. Why it backfires? Because people who want extra access to you will press that button. If they can trigger your good person identity, they can pull you into overgiving, and you end up resentful because you weren't choosing anymore, you were appeasing. How to respond instead. When they say, "Wow, okay, I guess you're too busy for us now." "I hear you. I'm settled on my decision." Then silence. Here's why it works. Because it ends the emotional bargaining. You're not defending your character. You're standing in your choice. To bring it all together, the no backstory rule boils down to this. When you feel the urge to explain, simplify. One sentence, then stop talking. Because silence is what seals a boundary. Most people don't need more information. They need to accept your answer. And if they can't accept it, the issue isn't your explanation. It's their entitlement. Here's some ways this could show up in real life. Scenario 1, the last-minute favor. Old you, "Ugh, I'm sorry. I've had such a long week and I still need to..." The no backstory version. "I can't tonight. Thanks for understanding." If they push, "I'm not available." Scenario 2, family guilt. Old you, I know, I just have a lot going on," and no backstory. "I'm not coming this time." If they push, "I've decided, I'm not coming this time." Scenario 3, the private details. Old you, "It's complicated, and I don't want you to think..." No backstory, "I'm keeping that private." If they keep pushing, "I'm not discussing it." Notice the pattern. Short, calm, repeat, stop. Here's why guilt fades when you stop over-explaining. Because guilt is often the feeling of abandoning someone else's comfort. When you over-explain, you're trying to manage their reaction. That creates pressure and self-doubt. When you keep it clean, your nervous system learns, "I can disappoint someone and still be safe." That's the muscle. That's self-respect. And it all starts with awareness, that impulse to over-explain. But you won't fall for that again, because now you know better. Here's an invitation for this week. Pick one place where you always over-explain. It could be friends, family, work, dating, favors. Then practice the rule. One sentence, then silence. Here are 3 lines to rotate. "It doesn't work for me." "I'm not available." "I'm settled on my decision." You might even have your own version that feels more like you. You're welcome to drop it in the comments. It might just help someone else. Practice the new habit once and watch what happens. Some people will respect you more. Some will push. Some might get annoyed. That's information. Because when you stop over-explaining, you stop rewarding people who need you to be small. You don't owe a backstory for having boundaries. You're allowed to choose. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to say no. And the calmer you deliver it, the faster the guilt fades, because your body learns you can protect yourself without panic. If this helped you, a free and simple way you can support the channel is to hit subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, calm is a strategy, not a personality. You've got this.